There are some actors who hate being too heavily associated with a single role. James Michael Tyler, who has died at the age of 59, was not one of those actors. While some Friends stars tried to shake off their former characters and move on with their careers after the series ended in 2004, Tyler always seemed relaxed about being known as Gunther. The waiter and manager at Coffee House Central Perk gradually became a fan favorite over the sitcom's 10-year run. And long after the show ended, Tyler kept close ties to the Friends brand. He would speak to the press every time the Friends set went on tour around the world. He would pose for selfies and sign autographs when stopped by fans of the show. Occasionally, I'll still get recognized as Gunther, which is okay with me, he said in 2018. After the 6 main stars, Gunther was the character with the most appearances in Friends, cropping up in 185 episodes, more than Janice, Carol, Susan, Phoebe's husband Mike, and Ross and Monica's parents Jack and Judy put together. Having said that, he didn't necessarily speak in every episode he appeared in. Tyler often wasn't even credited because Gunther was simply seen in the background, behind the bar, particularly in the early years. He initially got the job on Friends because he knew how to work a coffee machine.
But he was gradually given more and more material over the years, delivering killer one-liners in his character's droll manner. To remember the actor and the part he played, here are some of Gunther's best moments. Where else could we start? Admittedly, Gunther's first appearance in the comedy series wasn't much to write home about. He was seen working in Central Perk in the 2nd episode of the 1st season, the one with the sonogram. His first ever line of dialogue actually didn't come until the 33rd episode, and even then he only had one word to say. Yeah? Before then, I had kind of an inkling that Gunther slept in the back of Central Perk, in the storage room. But I didn't create a full-formed backstory for him until much later in the series, Tyler recalled. In his first speaking scene, Ross offered him the slinky he had initially bought for Rachel. "Hey Gunther, you got stairs in your place?" Ross asked. "Yeah," Gunther replied. "Go nuts," said Ross, handing him the springy toy. There are a million great scenes we could include in this section, because Gunther's primary personality trait was his utter adoration of Jennifer Aniston's character. Sometimes his love for her slipped out in his speech. At other times, we heard his inner monologue as a voiceover. Either way, the poor barista could never seem to catch a break. Jokes aside, Gunther played a key role in breaking up Ross and Rachel in Series 3, when he told her Ross had been unfaithful. When Joey found a set of Porsche keys in Central Perk, he initially asked Gunther if they were his. "Yes, that's what I drive," Gunther fired back sarcastically. "I make $4 an hour. I saved up for 350 years. This interaction acted as a springboard for the rest of the episode's storyline, which saw Joey pretend the car was his in order to impress passing women. Gunther's white blonde hair was his trademark, but it was never intended to be that color. One of Tyler's friends tried to dye it the night before his audition, and it didn't turn out as planned. But it clearly didn't do the actor any harm. In fact, his eye-catching head of hair probably played a large part in helping the actor catch the attention of viewers in the early years when he was essentially an extra. Unfortunately for him, the producers loved it too, which meant Tyler had to continue bleaching his hair every week for 10 years. Not that Joey realized this in the show, of course. When Gunther told him in one episode that he was off to get his hair dyed, Joey replied, "Oh really? But I like your natural color." When Ross attempted to learn Dutch to impress the landlord of an apartment, he practiced some new phrases on Gunther, who was fluent. But when Ross rudely cut the conversation short, Gunther ended up calling him an ezel. Ross had to look this up to discover he'd just been called a donkey, or ass. Once he finally found the translation, he said, "Hey Gunther, you're an ezel." Gunther was too smart for him though, replying, "Judge heb sex met ezels," leaving Ross stumped once again. It must have been painful for poor Gunther to witness Rachel being asked out on a date by another man in the 3rd season, right under his nose. So he headed to the coffee house's storage room, out of viewer's sight. The next thing we heard was the sound of an almighty crash, with Gunther obviously smashing large amounts of glass and crockery in a rage. When he returned to the coffee house floor, he was greeted with stunned silence by the other customers. "I dropped a cup," he explained, unconvincingly. Gunther helped Phoebe out of one particularly tricky situation involving a man she was dating in Series 3. Her partner Robert wore very loose-fitting shorts and, as a result, gave those around him an eyeful. Robert's unintentional flashing left Chandler, Joey and Ross helpless with laughter, but neither them nor Phoebe wanted to broach the subject with him. Fortunately, when Gunther walked by their table, he swiftly told Robert, "Hey buddy, this is a family place. Put the mouse back in the house." In 2015, Tyler was interviewed on Central Perk's famous Orange Sofa by Good Morning Britain, where he revealed it was his all-time favorite line. "Oh, no, there's none of that in here," Gunther told Chandler when he tried to smoke a cigarette in Central Perk. Chandler replied, "Oh, come on, at least let me finish this last one." Gunther thought before offering a compromise. "Okay, but only if you give me a drag." Inhaling Chandler's cigarette, he delivered one of his most memorable lines, "Oh, dark mother. Once again I suckle at your smoky teat." Joey needed a shoulder to cry on when he found himself unemployed in Season 2. Dropping into Central Perk for coffee, he told Gunther the producers of the TV soap he starred in, Days of Our Lives, had killed off his character. "That's too bad." "How'd they do it?" asked a sympathetic Gunther. "I fell down an elevator shaft," explained Joey. Gunther replied, "That sucks. I was buried in an avalanche." After confusion from Joey, he added, "I used to be Bryce on All My Children." It was a fun indication of Gunther's past, and a reminder that in New York you're never far from an out-of-work actor. When the Friends cast got back together for their much-heralded reunion in early 2021, several members of the supporting cast joined them to celebrate. It's a testament to Tyler's importance to the show that he was the only star who was allowed to appear via Zoom, rather than in person.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe